Sometimes, life throws at us a series of strange coincidences. One day, you help a stranger on the street. You forget about it. And months later, when you least expect it, someone you've never met offers you a helping hand right when you need it most. And in that moment, you pause. You wonder, was it just a coincidence? Or is life running on a rulebook we can't quite see? Thousands of years ago, deep in the teachings of ancient India, there emerged an idea. They called it karma. But karma is not what most people think it is. It's not some cosmic reward system. It's not about being punished for your mistakes or being gifted for your good deeds. Karma is deeper. It's cause and effect in motion. It's the echo of every action you take. Like the ripples that spread when a stone touches water, every word you speak, every thought you nurture, every decision you make, it travels further than you think. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." He didn't use the word karma, but he was pointing at the same truth. Your thoughts become actions. Your actions shape your character, and your character becomes your fate. Most of us move through life unaware of this chain, but it's there, constantly weaving the fabric of our reality. And this isn't just philosophy. Today, neuroscience, psychology, and social dynamics all hint at the same thing. Every move we make leaves an invisible imprint on ourselves and on the world around us.com. So today, we're going to follow the thread. We'll dive into the roots of karma, from ancient wisdom to modern science. We'll listen to the voices of sages, philosophers, and even researchers. And maybe, by the end of this journey, you'll realize that what we often call fate is nothing more than the math of our own choices. Karma is not just a spiritual concept. It's a thread that runs through the history of human thought. From the temples of ancient India to the writings of Roman emperors, from Eastern mysticism to Western philosophy. It begins thousands of years ago in the sacred texts of India. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, "You have the right to perform your actions, but not to the fruits of those actions." This is one of the most misunderstood teachings in human history. What it really means is, you are responsible for what you do, not for how the world responds. The action itself matters more than the result. In the Upanishads, karma is described as the law of cause and effect, not just in the outside world, but within us. Every thought, every intention plants a seed in the soil of your existence. And one day, that seed will grow. But this idea didn't stay in the East. Across the world, in the heart of the Roman Empire, a Stoic emperor sat at night and wrote to himself, Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." To the Stoics, the universe was a web of cause and effect. They believed in logos, an underlying order to everything. And within that order, your actions were not isolated events. They were threads in a much larger tapestry. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, put it simply, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The Stoics understood what Eastern philosophers had been saying for centuries. You can't control the world, but you can control what you bring into it. And here's the beauty of it. Whether you call it karma, logos, or simply consequence, the principle is the same. What you send out into the world will, in one form or another, return to you. Even in Western philosophy, this law echoes. Socrates taught that a good life is one lived in harmony with virtue, because virtue itself creates order, both within and without. Centuries later, Friedrich Nietzsche would write about the idea of amor fati, the love of one's fate. He wasn't talking about submission. He was talking about ownership, about understanding that everything you do, every choice you make, becomes the architecture of your life. In his words, become who you are. Karma, in this light, is not punishment or reward. It's not an external force judging you. It's a mirror, a reflection of your own creation. The Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh explained it like this: when you plant lettuce, if it does not grow well, you don't blame the lettuce. you look for reasons why. Maybe it needs more water or less sun. Karma is the same. You are the gardener of your own life. You may not control the weather, but you choose what seeds you plant. So when people ask, is karma real? The real question is, how could it not be? Look closely at your life. Every relationship, every challenge, every unexpected turn, trace the thread back far enough, and you'll find yourself holding the needle. For thousands of years, people have looked at life and wondered, is there something more at play than what we can see? In the East, karma was never just about action and consequence. It was about intention, the invisible force behind what we do. The Buddha once said, "What we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life of tomorrow." This is not a metaphor. It's a blueprint. Your intention is like the wind beneath an arrow. You may hit or miss the target, but the direction, the force, always begins inside you. In modern times, spiritual teachers like Eckhart Tolle brought this ancient truth into simple, clear language. Tal said, "Whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you are withholding from the world. When we want love, but live in resentment, when we seek peace, but carry anger, when we desire connection, but choose isolation, we are planting seeds that will never grow the flowers we long for." Alan Watts put it even more beautifully. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing. In the same way that a wave is a function of the ocean, your life, your choices, your energy, they don't exist in a vacuum. They ripple through the fabric of everything. In Sufi mysticism, they speak of niyya, the purity of intention. They say that when your intention is clear, the universe conspires in your favor. Because it's not the act itself that creates reality. It's the energy behind it. And if you look closely, you'll see this everywhere. You meet people who seem to carry light with them. Not because their life is perfect, but because their intention is aligned, honest, kind, aware. You also meet others who, no matter what they do, seem trapped in a cycle of negativity. That too is karma. Because karma isn't about what happens to you. It's about what happens through you. Some traditions call it energy. Some call it frequency. Science might call it cause and effect. But the truth is simple. Every time you choose love over fear, kindness over cruelty, awareness over reaction, you shift the entire field around you. You become the cause, and the effect will follow. The question is never whether karma exists. The question is, what kind of karma are you weaving? The scientific perspective. For centuries, karma was seen as a spiritual idea, a belief, a law of the unseen. But today, science is slowly catching up to what the ancients have been saying all along. Let's start with the most basic principle, cause and effect. In physics, in biology, in psychology, this law is everywhere. Nothing exists in isolation. Every action has a reaction. Every movement triggers another. In the world of neuroscience, we now know that every choice you make literally rewires your brain. This is called neuroplasticity. Your habits, your thoughts, your emotional patterns, they're not fixed. They're built over time by repetition. When you choose kindness, your brain changes. When you choose anger, your brain changes. Every decision is like a vote for the person you are becoming. Psychologists call this the helper's high. When you help someone, your brain releases dopamine and oxytocin, chemicals that make you feel good, connected, fulfilled. It's not just philosophy. It's biology, but it doesn't stop there. Sociologists have studied what they call the ripple effect. One small act of generosity, kindness, or cruelty doesn't just affect the person you direct it toward, it spreads. Studies show that when you do something kind, the person you help is more likely to help someone else. And the person they help will likely pass it on. Your actions create invisible waves in the social fabric. Waves that may come back to you, or may change the life of someone you will never even meet. This isn't magic. It's mathematics. The theory of complex systems teaches us that small causes can have massive, unpredictable effects. In physics, they call it the butterfly effect. A butterfly flaps its wings in Brazil, and weeks later, there's a storm in Texas. Karma is not so different. You may not see the connection between what you do today and what happens next year, but it's there. Woven into the chaos of life beneath the noise, even in evolutionary biology, cooperation and empathy are recognized as essential for survival. Humans thrive because we are social creatures. When we harm others, we harm the system we live in. When we uplift others, we uplift ourselves.com. The modern world may have traded temples for laboratories, but the lesson is the same. What you give, you get. What you contribute returns to you in ways you may never expect. Karma is not a superstition. It's not a fairy tale. It's the architecture of reality itself. Karma is one of the most misunderstood ideas in the world. Over time, in movies, social media, pop culture, it's been reduced to a kind of cosmic vending machine. You put in a good deed, and out comes a reward. You make a mistake, and the universe punishes you. But this is not karma. This is wishful thinking, a simplified transactional version of something much deeper. Let's get one thing clear. Karma is not a justice system run by the universe. It's not a punishment for your sins, and it's not a reward for being good. If it were, then explain this. Why do terrible things happen to good people? Why do liars, thieves, and manipulators sometimes seem to rise to the top, while kind, honest souls struggle in the shadows? People often look at tragedy and say, that's karma. But that's not how it works. Karma is not immediate. It is not personal revenge. It's not even linear. Imagine throwing a stone into a vast, endless ocean. The ripples you create will spread far beyond what you can see. Some will come back to you in ways you recognize. Most will not. But they will move something, somewhere, sometime. That's the first misconception. That karma is an instant transaction. It isn't. Sometimes the ripples return in this lifetime. Sometimes in ways you'll never notice. Sometimes, never at all. The second misunderstanding is that karma is deterministic. That if bad things happen to you, you must have done something wrong. This is dangerous. It leads people to blame victims for their own suffering, to justify injustice, to say, well, they must deserve it. It's their karma. No, life is not that simple. The universe is chaos and order, light and dark, creation and destruction. Karma is not about deserving. It's about causality. A person's suffering may be the result of countless factors beyond their control. Their environment, their society, the actions of others, even blind chance. To reduce it all to karma is not wisdom. It's arrogance. Even in the ancient texts, karma was never presented as a punishment. It was a mirror, a reflection of how your actions shape the flow of life. Not just your own, but the collective.com. Here's the third misconception, that karma is only about big, dramatic actions. What you do when everyone is watching. The choices that make headlines. But the truth is, karma is built in the smallest moments. In how you speak to the barista. In whether you pick up the trash that isn't yours. In the thoughts you allow to live in your mind when no one else is around. These tiny, invisible actions. They shape your world far more than the grand gestures. And finally, there's one more illusion. The idea that you can hack karma. That if you perform good deeds, say the right words, act spiritual enough, the universe will owe you something. But karma doesn't work like a scoreboard. There's no ledger being kept. Because karma is not about what you do. It's about why you do it. If you give to charity only so people will praise you, that's not karma. That's ego. If you help others, but secretly expect a reward, you're not planting seeds. You're gambling. The Gita warns us of this mindset. Perform your duty without attachment to results. Meaning do the right thing because it is right, not because you want something in return. The real danger of misunderstanding karma is this. It makes people complacent, passive. They wait for the universe to punish others instead of holding them accountable. They avoid responsibility for their own lives because they believe it's just karma. But karma is not fate. It's not a divine punishment. And it's not an excuse. It's a reminder that every action carries weight, that we are all connected in ways we can't fully see, and that what we choose today will shape the world of tomorrow. So when you hear people say, karma will get them, know this: karma doesn't get anyone. It's not hunting or punishing or rewarding. It's simply reflecting. The question is not whether karma is real. The question is whether you're paying attention to the karma you are creating in every word, every thought, every choice. So far, we've talked about karma as a grand principle, as something woven into the fabric of the universe, a law of cause and effect that stretches across time and space. But here's the thing: karma isn't just out there in philosophy books, ancient texts, or the unseen forces of the cosmos. Karma is here, in your life, right now. You don't have to look far to see it. Just look at your relationships. Look at your habits. Look at the patterns that repeat themselves over and over again. Ask yourself, why do the same types of people keep showing up in your life? Why do you find yourself facing the same challenges, the same conflicts, the same lessons? This is not fate playing games with you. This is not coincidence. This is karma in motion. Because what you carry within you, your fears, your beliefs, your unresolved wounds, they shape the choices you make, and those choices shape the life you experience. If you live with distrust, you will find betrayal everywhere. If you live with kindness, you will see kindness reflected back at you. Not always, not immediately, but inevitably. Think about the conversations you've had today, the small interactions, the way you responded when something didn't go your way, the thoughts you entertained when no one else could hear them. These are the building blocks of your karma. Not the big, dramatic moments, but the quiet, everyday ones. When you judge someone harshly, you carry that harshness with you long after they're gone. When you forgive, you carry that freedom inside yourself. When you speak words of encouragement, you leave a trace of light, not just in others, but in your own mind. Karma is not only what you send out into the world, it's what you leave behind inside yourself. There's an old Zen saying, before you speak, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? That is karma in practice. Every day you are planting seeds. With your thoughts, with your words, with your actions, and whether you realize it or not, you will one day walk through the garden you've grown. Sometimes you'll wonder why life feels heavy, why things aren't working out, why certain doors keep closing. But when you look closely, you'll see. It's not life doing this to you. It's the echoes of every choice you've made, coming back home. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. Because the beautiful, terrifying truth is this: you are not a victim of karma. You are its author. Every moment is an opportunity to rewrite the story, to shift the energy you're putting into the world, to choose love over fear, compassion over judgment, presence over reaction. You don't need to control the world. You only need to control what you bring into it. So ask yourself, what kind of karma am I creating today? What seeds am I planting in the people I meet, in the thoughts I think, in the way I live? Because the future isn't written in the stars. It's written in your decisions. Right here, right now. Section 7. In the end, karma is not some force watching over you. It is not a judge or a jury. It is not waiting in the shadows to reward you or punish you. Karma is the wind you set in motion, the echo of your own voice, the reflection of every step you take, coming back to meet you on the road ahead. You can call it cause and effect. You can call it energy. You can call it simple human psychology. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that you understand the weight of your own choices. You are not separate from the world around you. You are part of the chain, a link in a web of thoughts, actions, intentions. Every time you speak, you shape the air. Every time you act, you carve the future. Every time you think, you build the lens through which you will see the world. And here's the thing no one tells you. You don't need to wait for karma to catch up with you, because karma is not coming. It's already here. It's in the way you feel when you lie. It's in the peace you find when you forgive. It's in the ripple of kindness that returns when you least expect it. The universe is not keeping score. You are. So the next time you wonder why certain patterns repeat, the next time you look at your life and ask, why me? Remember to look closer, to trace the thread back to where it began, because you are not a passenger in this life. You are the one holding the pen. Every moment is a choice. Every choice is a seed. And one day, you will sit beneath the shade of the trees you planted long ago. So ask yourself, not what will the universe give me, but rather, what am I giving to the universe right now? Because in the end, karma is not what happens to you. Karma is who you choose to become.